as soon as I got in, I submitted, and then I got reviewed the next day. And so this is a picture that I took because I did end up telling this story in a video at one point. But yeah, I spent the 70 euros and I got in, and this is them reviewing. And I guess I impressed one of the employees, Travis, because he hired me as an editor shortly after. He's like, "Hey, started a new channel. Will you edit for me?" And I said, "Yeah." And so I guess that was impressing vidIQ because shortly after they hired me as their thumbnail designer, eventually they asked me to do a video. That went pretty well. I do a few more. One hits 1 million views, and things are going great. I'm getting millions of views. That wasn't until I got one hate comment, this guy. And basically, you don't have to read it all. I had to go find it. It was still there. But basically, he says this dude did not get 1 million views. It only got 1 million views because vidIQ was already big. And that comment stung because it was true. And like, I remember wanting to lie to him and be like, "You don't know what channels I have." But instead, I took it to heart and I decided to start my own channel. And so, yeah, like on a mission to get 1 million views of my own. And so I started this Hey John Scott channel, and I experimented with like all different types of niches. What was it? I think I did like commentary, kind of like Charlie does. I tried different formats, niches, viral tricks. Nothing worked. I just tried a bunch of crap. And then one day, I was super inspired by Casey Neistat. I was watching vlogs, and how he would go out and walk around New York City and just get a story. I thought it was so cool that he could do that. Just walk out your door and there's something to film. And so I thought I can do that. I can do that. And I went out into Cincinnati and I went to find a story. And while I was out, I see a fire truck at a four-way stop. Here's me. Here's the fire truck. That's literally the four-way stop. I went to Google Maps and grabbed it. I find it weird. I don't know what all these wrinkles are. Like, what the hell is that? Anyway, so I decide to follow the truck because I know that there's a potential story there. In the area that I'm at, there is a water tower that is actually a fire station. And I thought, if I can follow this fire truck and it goes to the fire station, there's like mystery, there's intrigue in that. Maybe there's something there, like I could get some cool footage. Nothing I hadn't done before, right? This doesn't lead to a viral video. I'll explain it in a second. But I thought, okay, this is a really good idea, and so I hit record on my glasses. I got those Meta Ray-Ban things. And so I was driving, and this is what it looked like. And so I go back, I follow the truck, I get there, I knock on the door, he lets me in, I tour the fire station, I'm like, okay, this is really cool. I walk out, I slip on the ice, and then I go to Taco Bell and brainstorm the idea, like how do I make this go viral? I got cool footage, what do I do with it? You can see I got a crunch wrap there in my hand. And so I actually recorded the brainstorm session, then I went home and I uploaded the stuff, but while I was uploading it, I started to feel my heartbeat in my foot. And so I took off my shoe, I took off my sock, and I realized that I had broken my toe. And then in a roundabout way, I realized that I have the perfect hook for this. And here it is. Hopefully it works. This was happening earlier. Give me 1 second. This fire truck broke my toe. So I'm stuck driving behind this fire. So this fire truck broke my toe. That's what it was. I thought that's a pretty good hook, right? This fire truck broke my toe. So I'm stuck driving. Okay, so it didn't directly break my toe, but I followed it there. Like my choice to follow it was the joke, right? And people find out at the end it didn't really break my toe, but it was the choice to follow it that did, right? And so as soon as I upload that, things kind of blow up. I'm like, what the hell happened, right? And so I hit upload, and the first day didn't. The second day it started to go like 50K. Third day was 100K, and then the fourth day it hit 1 million, and I'm like, whoa, what the hell happened? And so like I think I got a GIF here. This is, oh yeah, that's it, yeah. So that's kind of how I felt. I was like, what the hell happened? I was very, very confused because this is what I saw. I got this. This is like when it flatlined. I got 8.5 million views. I think it's like right around there still. And that was exciting, but what was more exciting was I had no idea that shorts could pay out this kind of money if you get those kind of views, which seems unattainable, but it's not. I promise you it's not, and I'm going to teach you how to do it. It's very, very exciting. If you can tell, I'm very excited. And so I became obsessed. Like, what the hell did I do with this one that was different from all the other ones? Because it couldn't have been storytelling. That part never changed. When I was following all the advice in my past, I focused solely on storytelling, and I got really, really good at it. But storytelling alone won't do it, right? The only thing that changed was the hook, the broken toe thing. And so the hook got people through the door, and the stuff I was already doing kept them, right? You can't keep attention that you can't catch. That was the missing piece. It was the hook. It wasn't better editing, trending audio, hashtags, none of the bullshit. It was just the hook. That's it. And so, I mean, that's not just me who figured that out. I mean, everybody says it. Hold on. I got a couple videos to prove it. Like, and it's the hook. Like, listen to Alex Hormozy, if it'll play. Actually, you know what? I bet if I refresh this.
One of our editors were looking at a short video that they're like, man.
Sorry, guys. I'm going to refresh it. We don't want to deal with that. Okay.
One of our editors were looking at a short video that they're like, man, I really thought this was a good video. And it totally tanked. It got like 4,000 views, which for us was a tank. They looked at it, made some notes, and all they did was they chopped the first 5 seconds. Basically, they just redid the first 5 seconds of the video. And that one change took it from 4,000 views to 850,000 views with that one change. That's a 200x increase.
Okay, you get the idea there. Here's another one.
That we need to be taught. Because at the end of the day, the hook matters more than anything, because if you don't get their attention, nothing else matters.
Yeah, okay, so he said it in a different way, but you can't keep attention that you can't catch, is what I say. I think mine's cooler, but he's Alex Hormozy. So, and then here's Pat Flynn, author of Superfans and a billion other things, and...
Isn't it crazy how if you don't nail the first 1 or 2 seconds of your video, all that editing, all the production, the idea is kind of a waste? So important to nail.
I think he says the hook. I don't remember why I cut it off there. But, okay. So, today I'm going to show you 3 things, okay? The 3 secrets of viral shorts. That's the whole point. And then after that, we're going to do the live reviews. Again, I've selected like 7 or 8 people that have submitted. I'm very excited to get through them. Or get to them. All right, so number 1 is the 3-part formula inside every viral short that most creators never see, okay? Okay, that one I've taught a lot of people, but the third one is the one I'm super excited about, okay? Number 2 is the framework I developed that tells you exactly how to make sure your short will stop the scroll before you ever hit publish, and that means like no more flops. I get a lot of creators that they upload something and then they're like, shit, oh man, I hate that intro, or I didn't want to do that, and then they delete it and they re-upload it, and then they wonder why their next video gets like 100 views, and that's something you should not do. When you delete your short off of YouTube and then you re-upload, like, it doesn't trust you anymore. The reason is YouTube puts some effort into your channel. It dedicates resources to understanding what that video was about. And so if a creator wanted to upload 1,000 things and then delete them and then re-upload them, you're wasting YouTube's money that way. And so people get like this little penalty when they delete something and then re-upload it, or delete something in general. And so if you're ever going to do that, just private it. I mean, play it safe. But anyway, the scroll stop system will help you avoid all of that, okay? It's the proven framework to make sure your short will stop the scroll before you ever hit publish, okay? And then secret number 3 is the perfect hook. I'm very excited. It's the exact formula that's got me over 500 million views and paid me enough to quit my job. And I got a spoiler, it works for every niche. So, is everybody ready for number 1? Type yes in the chat if you are. And if you're not, then just leave. Sweet. Okay, sorry. All right, let's do this thing. I had to wait for the lag. I had to see yes. I had to see a lot of yeses. All right, let's do this thing. Okay, so everyone's ready for number 1. all right, so after I got that first paycheck from YouTube, I knew that hooks were the whole game, and so, well, that didn't really help me. I mean, I knew that they worked, but it didn't help me write one, right? Like, why? I know why, but it doesn't tell me anything. So I went looking for an answer, and I get super obsessive when I don't know something. Okay, and so for weeks I sat at my desk and I studied shorts. Every video, every podcast, I watched a bunch of stuff about Jenny Hoyos. And so every piece of content that was available about YouTube Shorts at the time, I watched it. But there was a problem because shorts were fairly new. There wasn't much at the time either. I mean, I guess that's a good thing because there were no slop gurus selling whatever bullshit they are selling. But also there was like no data, and that kind of sucks. And so there were no case studies, no research, whatever. And I remember sitting there one night just thinking, like, there's got to be a pattern here. Like every viral short I've watched has something special, something invisible that's keeping me, and I just can't see it. And then I remembered how I figured out how to make good thumbnails. And so I remember I came up with this little hack probably about a year before I started the shorts journey. And the hack was called WMMC, What Made Me Click. And so I'd go back through my watch history and I'd find the videos that I wasn't subscribed to, and I'd screenshot the thumbnails and I'd collect them in a folder, also called a swipe file for those that know what a swipe file is. And so over time, as I kept collecting these ones that I wasn't subscribed to, the ones that I wouldn't normally watch but still got my attention, I started seeing the pattern of what makes a good thumbnail. And so what made me click, what didn't, the data was just my own behavior. Super simple to understand. And so if you ever get a chance to observe your own behavior, like the subconscious shit that you do, oh man, it's revealing for sure. And so I thought, like, maybe I can do the same thing with shorts, except there was a problem. The moment I start watching shorts, like, it's not like when you click a thumbnail, it's automatic. And so I'm like, oh wow, I don't even you go back in time and you see what you clicked. But with shorts, I would jump into the shorts feed knowing full and well what I'm doing. And so the moment I was watching shorts to study them, I'm not really watching them anymore. I'm watching them like a researcher. And so like the data would be biased. It's totally useless. And so I needed to somehow observe my natural behavior, not my studied behavior. And so I needed some version of YouTube's watch history, but specifically for shorts that I didn't swipe away from, which obviously doesn't exist because that would be ridiculous. But then I think, what if I just build it? I mean, that would be pretty cool, right? And so I did. I built a browser extension. It's nothing fancy. And before you ask, no, it doesn't exist. It did exist. It was just this little piece of shit that I had on my desktop, but it's not something that I can just hand out. I don't even have it anymore. It was not as great as it sounds. But, I mean, you could just go to ChatGPT and say, hey, build me an extension, or just, like, give it this video. The replay will be available for 4 more days after today. And then it gets privated, okay? So just send it this live stream and say, hey, when he talks about the extension, build me that, okay? So, ChatGPT, here's what I did. All it did was it recognized when I watched a short 100% of the way through, and then it would automatically log that link into a Google Sheet that I had connected to the extension. And then later, I'd go back through and I'd figure out what made me stay. What happened at the beginning to make me stop scrolling? That's it. And so a pattern eventually started to emerge, and that's when I noticed something. And to recap what I said at the beginning, sorry, every viral short does 2 things. They capture attention and they keep attention. And so that is like my big epiphany from there. But that's not what I discovered from the extension though. Okay? This is the purpose of shorts. This is what you got to know to make everything in this webinar make sense from now on. That's all they do, right? Every viral short captures attention and keeps attention, and that's it. So obviously, right? But that wasn't it. That's not the big discovery. So I'm over explaining because it's like too simple, but that's really all it is. And so I've got some examples of people that I taught this, and they all went viral. And so here's what I discovered, okay? I wanted to figure out how they did these things. Not that they did these things, but there are 3 types of hooks. That's it. That's the thing, okay? 3 types of hooks. Number 1 is audio, and so that's something that you hear that stops you and creates curiosity. Like it makes you wonder. It stops you and then it makes you wonder what's going to happen at the end. Okay, so catches your attention and then it makes you wonder. Oh, okay, well I guess I should stay. And then you have the visual, something that you see that catches your attention or creates curiosity. Visual it's easier for a visual to build anticipation, and so audio can a little bit if you build it up with the right soundtrack or you like say things in a certain way, like things are getting more tense, and so but visual builds anticipation a bit more. And so the third one is text hooks. Now, don't get this confused with subtitles because it's not the same thing. A caption that like sets up an expectation that something more is coming, that's a text hook. So when you're scrolling on Instagram, I'll just use the example that I usually use. What I thought buying a cat would be like versus, and that's all it says, right? You don't say that out loud. It's not subtitles. It's just like a little caption that after the video was done and you uploaded it to Instagram, it gave you the option to add text, and so that's where you added it. That's a text hook, okay? Now, what I thought buying a cat would be like versus, that versus tells you that something else is coming. Versus what, right? Everybody, you understand that? Makes sense? Type yes, please, so I know that I'm not going too fast. Right on. Okay, man, somebody, like, it's interesting, I'll say type yes, and there are like 3 people that go BAM! Real fast, and then there are like 10 more that are way slower. So the lag must be country specific. Okay, so right on. So I know it is simple, seems simple, but I'm going to give you some examples, okay? And I also, like, it's even simpler if you really understand it. And so what I thought buying a cat would be like versus, like, let me just tell you the full example there. What I thought buying a cat would be like versus. In that first moment, you say, or you show a cat like being all nice and cuddly. That's what I thought it would be like. Versus, and then the second part of that text hook is what it's actually like. And so it's a cat running up the walls and pooping all over, and like that's what it is. So the text hook just keeps people to the end because they want to see what the other part was. And so that's just a versus text hook. There are tons of text hooks that you can work with, and that's just a text hook. There are 3 different hooks you can work with. It sounds more complicated, but I've got a way to make this super, super easy, okay? I said it gets simpler. Okay, so I said I was going to teach you how to ethically steal views, and that's how to make it simple. I don't know where the hell my mouse is. There it is. Okay, so this is what I call the million view method. This is the stealing views thing. I was worried about saying stealing views. I felt like maybe some people would be like, oh, I don't want to do that. You're not really stealing, right? You're just like, I don't know, it seemed like good copywriting to say that. But yeah, you understand the 3 hooks. You understand there's audio, there's visual, there's text, okay? Here's the million view method. Let me actually show the examples. I have a note here that says live examples, and so here we go. Let's just pop this up here, and here's the first one. I actually have it already pre-broken down, and there's no visual, there's no text. You could argue that he's like nicely dressed, and so I guess that's a visual, but it's not making me curious to stay to the end, right? That's a hook. So is the way that he's dressed making me curious to stay to the end? I think the only thing that might be a visual hook is the castle thing in the back, but if it has nothing to do with a story, then it's not really a hook. Okay, and then we have subtitles you're about to see. Also not a text hook, because subtitles aren't a text hook. They don't make you curious. They're just communicating what's being said. All right, let me hit play here.
3 books.
Actually, let me pop it up on...
3 books the rich want to ban. 3 books the rich want to ban. The last one is the best. Number 3, One Up on Wall Street.
Okay, so the audio hook. 3 hooks. 3 books the rich want to ban. The last one is the best. Let's watch it again.
3 books the rich want to ban. The last one is the best.
Okay, so what's special about this one is you're always going to wait till number 3. And so that's like a little hack if you want to do a listicle. You almost don't need to do any extra work for the hook because the hook is built into the format. People will say 3, then 2, then 1, and that's why you see him start with number 3. Because if you start with number 3, 1 seems like it's a higher rating. It's like the best, right? It's S tier. Okay, so how do we steal this? How do we steal his views? But not literally, but how do we make this work for us? Well, when you look at the audio hook, you'll see that I wrote 3 niche items the niche authority want to ban. The last one is the descriptor, which sounds ridiculous. But 3 niche items. So you could say something like, somebody give me a niche. Tell me your niche. Tell me what you are into. The hardest thing is ideation. This will help. I promise you. Like, sometimes just starting with the hook template will give you the idea. That's what we're doing here. Soccer, okay? 3 soccer rules the refs want to ban. I don't know what the soccer authority is. The refs, I don't think that works. The whatever the FDA is for soccer, SDA. 3 soccer players the soccer authority wants to ban. I just wish I knew what the soccer authority was. Like, I would say NFL, but you know, it's not for what's the soccer version. Okay, I'll do more. This is fun. And then you say the last one is the descriptor. So the last one is the most ridiculous, right? 3 soccer players the FIFA wants to ban. Yeah, the 3 soccer rules FIFA wants to ban. That, okay, yeah, you wouldn't say that as great things. I mean, I know you were thanking me. FIFA, seeing a lot of FIFA. Okay, 3 I don't know what you call like places that they play. 3 cities. Yeah, 3 cities FIFA wants to ban. The last one is I don't know. You guys come up with it. The descriptor. Ghosts that smell like tobacco. I don't think that's a niche. Cats. Okay, 3 cat toys the government wants to ban. The last one is the most dangerous, craziest, stupidest. 3 rules the cops, and you can even switch it up if you want. The 3 rules the cops want to pass, or 3 rules the government wants to pass. The last one is and then I would say something to make people angry. Okay, so you can see 3 fishing hooks the Wildlife Service wants to ban. The last one catches the most. That's pretty good. I got these examples here. 3 games Steam wants to ban. The last one is the most violent. 3 books schools want to ban. The last one is the most ridiculous. Oh yeah, I guess I just went books because he said books. But anyway, I'll explain what this tool is later. But that's how this works. Okay, now I'm going to go on a little bit of a rant here because a lot of people ask this question, and I think it's important to understand the deal. So, is that copying? No, it's not. Be right back. I forgot to prepare it. So, this is a book I wrote called Sound Like a Smart Creator. Okay? Let me just pop it up here. Sound Like a Smart Creator. And I really like the size of it. It's a 6x6 square. And all the art that I did inside it, they're not all stick guys, but I really like that one. There's Saul Goodman. I really like the black and white art and just finding the negative space, and I thought that was like a really cool book. And Sound Like a Smart Creator is a compilation of a bunch of insights that I thought were really cool on podcasts, creator podcasts. And so they all taught me things like the Barnum effect, attribution bias, isolation effect. And so if you were ever watching Joe Rogan and somebody says, do you know what the attribution bias is? Or do you know what the rhyme is reason effect is? And Joe's like, nah. And then he explains it. It's a little piece of value that became a really cool clip on a podcast. And so I named it Sound Like a Smart Creator. Paradox of choice. That's like when you're given too many options and you can't pick one, like when you watch Netflix. So sunk cost fallacy. Just all these really cool things that I heard off podcasts. Alex Ramosi saying them, Ali Abdaal saying them. And I thought, if I could memorize all these, I would sound like a really smart creator. And so I made the book Sound Like a Smart Creator. And yeah, I thought it was really cool. Anyway, I like it. It's full of insights. I thought, yeah, I really want to remember that stuff. And yeah, but let's say somebody wants to copy my book, okay? Somebody got inspired, and they wanted to make a 6x6 square book with hand-drawn art, black and white, and they wrote it about something like anime, okay? Would that be copying me? Like, I didn't create the idea of books. right? It's just they really like the size, and so they were inspired by it. They modeled my structure, but their own version. Okay, if you think, yeah, they're kind of copying, well, would they be copying Austin Kleon? Because he's got a 6x6 book. It's like black and white art. Most of it's hand drawn. I mean, that would be copying, right? No. What if they didn't know who Austin Kleon was? Right? They definitely couldn't copy him then. Like that would be impossible. And so, there we go. And so I have notes that like I had to scroll. Anyway, they couldn't copy him because they didn't know who he was, right? They didn't know that I took the inspiration from Austin Kleon. I modeled what worked, but my way, with my own experiences. They did the same to me, and coincidentally, that's what Steal Like an Artist is actually about. So like Van Gogh modeled Japanese wood blocks. Pixar modeled Disney. Fortnite modeled PUBG. Podcasts modeled talk radio. YouTube modeled TikTok. Who modeled Vine. Who modeled GIFs and memes online. Who modeled comic strips. Who modeled illustrative storytelling. Illustrative storytelling was around for a really long time, but they modeled cave paintings, I guess, is if you want to trace it far back. And so, yeah, like I hope you guys see what I'm saying. This is not copying; it's like finding inspiration. Like there's a major difference here. And so, Austin Kleon, like he modeled his stuff out off of Linda Berry and Saul Steinberg. These two people here. One second. These two people here, and I didn't know who they were. I had to Google to make this point. Like, there's no way that I copied them because I didn't know who they were, right? How does my book copy them? It doesn't, right? If you really trace it back, you'll realize like copying isn't. There is like straight up copying, and then there's being inspired, and a lot of people get that confused because they're worried. Okay. And but every business book behind me says like model what works. Tony Robbins says success leaves clues. It's just this is what success is made of. You learn what works and then you make your version of it. Like I always say, learn the rules and then break them, right? If you're too afraid to copy, you'll never create. And so this is a rant I always like to go on because it held me back for a really long time. The problem is that we take inspiration from people, and if we do it in our lifetime, it's copying, but if they're dead and buried and gone for a while, it's taking inspiration. And it's just, that's not the way things are. So I had to read actually, this book, Steal Like an Artist, I recommend it. If copying ever gets you overthinking and stuff like that, this book really, really helped. So it worked for me. Anyway, if you're still iffy on the subject, I get it. I know that feeling, that impulse to really, really want to be original. And so I've got a solution for you, and this will actually increase the chances of you going viral, and it's especially helpful if you're in a niche that's saturated. Looking at you, Minecrafters and Robloxers. And for those that don't know, that just means your niche is like really, really popular, and a lot of people do it, okay? And so here's the trick. This is the neighbor niche secret, all right? So you don't have to stay in your own niche to model working hooks like we just learned, the audio, visual, text thing. The thing that we did here with this guy, where we came up with different examples, fishing, gaming, the FIFA one where I couldn't remember what FIFA was. Yeah, so anyway, you don't have to stay in your niche to do it. Neighbor niches share a trait with yours, okay? That's what makes this like super, super easy. So, like 3D printing and woodworking, 3D printing can use woodworking hooks and vice versa if they're like both focused on like handmade products, something like this. 3D printing can use a hook from Lego if they wanted to, because they could, if the hook had something to do with showing it like this, then you could browse anything that shares a trait with yours. Here, I got an example here. Yeah, here we go. Actually, I have another one, but here is one right here. Okay, it's all it is just like a really close-up time lapse, I guess, or progress of the thing being made, and the hook at the beginning, or actually there's no hook, it's just like showing it up close, and it's playing a cool song, and people are watching it being made, but the hook is that you have to wait until the end to see the finished product. At least that's what people want, and then there it is. Okay, so you do woodworking, you can do the exact same thing. Let's 3D print an articulated dragon. And so you could do something just as easy, like let's craft a wooden spoon or something like that. I guess that's kind of boring, but you can show it in the exact same way, close up, similar type song, and then that's how the hook works. The dragon is way more interesting, but I'm just saying the hook does work. Actually, I have another example here. I'm like having so much trouble finding my damn mouse. Okay, here's another one. So
Printed over engineered pen, 3D printed over engineered pen versus real simple pen. Which one is better? Let's find out.
okay, so handcrafted wooden canoe versus Walmart canoe. Which one is better? Like this, this is not wood, right? He's doing 3D printed stuff. I'm doing woodworking, but you see how they share a similar trait and they can work together, right? 3D print and woodworking or construction or DIY or crocheting or sewing or maybe even puzzles, like they're all kind of up close stuff that can, really, really work. And so another example, I think I have it here, real estate and finance, they're both like expert authority. And so if you jump into like, let me think here, like talking about the market, right? Talking about the market can fit for the real estate market or the finance market. And so if you start with, here's what nobody's telling you. Here's what, I don't know much about stocks, but here's what the stocks are not telling you. I know that's not the right thing to say. Here's what Robinhood is not telling you. And then that's a hook for finance and investing. And then real estate takes it. Here's what real estate app, Cincinnati Homeowners Society or whatever isn't telling you. Like they both work together. Any kind of expert will work here. Actually have an example of that too. So if you are an entrepreneur, expert authority, that sort of thing, you're running a business or you're giving advice in any circumstance, this would probably work for you. How to sound confident when speaking. So the hook here is that you've got two versions of yourself, and you've got a red X, and then you've got a green check mark. And so here's how it goes.
When you didn't hear someone, don't say
What?
Say.
Pardon me?
When disagreeing, don't say
No, you're wrong.
Say.
I don't agree, and here's why.
When you need to interrupt, don't talk over them. Instead, say.
Excuse me for interrupting. I just need to add.
When thanking someone, don't say.
So I really don't want to deal with the rest of that. But I hope you can see that when you share a trait, like all you got to do is when buying a home, don't do this, right? You've got, or when hiring an attorney, don't ask them this, ask them this. Or anything, like when you're pulled over by a cop, don't say this, say this. And so you have two different versions. I bet the cop one would probably go viral right now if you followed this format exactly. So that's how that works, and it's just they share a similar niche. Minecrafters, okay? If you are thinking that your niche is gaming, it's not, okay? Your niche is Minecraft. And this is something that I had to really, really think about because, like, you can take your hooks from Roblox, from Fortnite, from Halo, anything, and you can use them in your game. And so it's more difficult for gaming to go try to take another hook. It can be done. There are hooks that are multi I forgot the word. I have it, multi-niche hooks. I got an idea from a Lego short. That's great. Your Minecraft, yeah. So that'll, like block building, that's probably the shared trait there. So if you can tell what a shared trait is, then I've got an example for you, and I wrote TCAT to remind me. Let me tell you, or let me challenge you here, okay? If you saw a previous webinar, don't ruin it for people, but here, see if you can tell what the shared trait is between these two. We've got teapots, and we've got cats. Okay, we don't have to stick around through it, but it goes good, very well, best, or whatever, excellent. Okay, now here's the other one. you guys tell what the shared trait is? What makes these two niches neighbor niches? I'll give you 5 seconds because I have to get my cat away from the door. One moment. Super professional. Okay. Anyway, can you tell? Everything increases in quality. Correct, but the shared trait. That you've connected the hook. You know they both use the same hook. Comparing something, comparisons. Yeah, you guys got it. Okay. So everything increases. The shared trait thing is just they're products, right? But yeah, you got the hook. So actually, the question I asked didn't matter if you got the point. The point was you just increase, and so you can do that with anything. Honestly, I see a lot of drawing hooks like art do the same thing, where it's like good, better, best type sketches and stuff like that. Actually, I think I had it. I had a version right here. It doesn't matter. You guys get the idea. I can move on. But yeah, there's a lot like that. And so, anyway, for those that get the idea, if you feel like you're still held back at all, it might be because of something that I felt for a long time, right? I've tried this kind of thing and it doesn't work. I'm feeling like the algorithm is kind of holding me back. I pay attention to YouTube advice or whatever. Like I watched vidIQ, I watched your stuff, and nothing is working, right? And so if you're feeling like that, I have to ask you a question, okay? Are you good with that? See, I see. How to make sure everyone watches your shorts till the end. Okay, all right. So, the question is, do you know who Wile E. Coyote is? Do you guys know? Am I too old, or do you know this guy? I'm kind of afraid of the answer, but yeah, yes, okay, yeah, all right. So, Wile E. Coyote, he's the guy that is always chasing the Roadrunner. Maybe you know the Roadrunner, the meat guy. Well, anyway, Wile E. Coyote, he spends every single episode chasing the Roadrunner with over-engineered Acme brand bullshit, right? He's got like rocket skates, giant magnets, TNT, catapults. I think he paints tunnels, like fake tunnels at some point. But the point is, everyone always blows up in his face. But here's something that a lot of people don't know, and I had to do the research because I needed this to be a good analogy. The Wile E. Coyote, the coyote can run like 42 miles per hour, and then the Roadrunner tops off at like 26 miles per hour. And so had he just run after him, he would have caught him. Like every single time, he just would have caught him. And so that's creators. That's you, okay? Every creator in this room that has tried everything but still can't figure out why it's not working, it's not you. It's the advice you've tried. And those fake YouTube gurus out there, they're Acme, damn it. And so, yeah, I hope that makes sense. If that makes sense, type meep in the chat. I think that's the perfect thing to type there. Meep. And so, with that said, I am going to move on to the next one. Okay? Yeah, the reason I bring it up now is because when I'm talking about the next thing, and I might say hook formula, it kind of feels like, oh shit, now I have another thing I got to memorize, another thing I have to learn. There's a lot of meeps. There's like another thing I got to learn on top of everything else I'm trying to do, and I get it, right? There's a lot of stuff out there, and so that's why the 3 things you're learning today are like as simple as possible. So here's the thing. As of last Monday, we did the count again, and it's 100 more than last time we counted. 1,846 shorts. Okay, I've reviewed 1,846 total, and after today, it's going to be like, I don't know, 1,850 some. Okay, so yeah, don't forget we got the live reviews coming up for those of you that submitted, and of course there's the gift. So 1,846. That's a pretty specific number, John. How the fuck did you figure that out? Well, We went through them. We actually have a database where we give it to AI, and it counts now. But we had to get through it first to figure out what questions were asked the most. And so we have a data set full of all of our live streams, and we broke them down, and we figured out what the most obvious piece of advice, like the top three, basically. There were three that really, really popped out to us, and then there were also like, how many times do I post a day, or how often should I post, and that sort of stuff. But there were three that really, really stuck out, okay? And that's what this new framework is based off of. Just the things. Just the things. Okay, so I'm going to let you in on a little secret for this. What I'm about to teach you works for all ads. It works for like billboards and landing pages and thumbnails, your websites, blogs, anything. Every single one of them, when they work, they're doing three things, okay? And when they don't work, they're at least missing one of them. And so that's it. That's the whole system, all right? Before I show you the three things, though, I need to ask you something. Can you watch your short all the way to the end? And would you be willing to share your short with somebody else? And I know a lot of you are, because a lot of you submitted, and I'll be doing the reviews here in a bit. But it's really important that you're able to do this and that you can watch to the end, okay? Because if you can do that, then you can do exactly what I'm about to tell you. I'm excited. So let me know. Give me a yes, and hell yeah. We're going to rock this. Okay. So if you're willing to share your shorts to other people and you're willing to watch the end, then it doesn't matter. You can do this, okay? It's all you need is just attention pointed in the right direction. That's it. That's all it's ever been. And so I just choked on my own spit. This is the scroll stop system, okay? It starts with 3 C's. 3. And I got good news because the million view method achieves 2 of them. So you only really got to learn one thing, okay? But the 2 that you have already learned are capture and curiosity. So I said a hook does 2 things, right? It gets your attention and it keeps it to the end. And so that's the first 2 C's, capture and curiosity. If your short does these 3 things, all 3 C's, then you're good to go. All right, everybody, get your screen cap tools ready, or however you want to take these notes. We figured out a way to put me on the side so I'm not covering it. I was in the bottom corner, but yeah, get your screen cap stuff ready, okay? It's all about the hooks. I mean, you can write this down or you can ignore it, but I want to cover the first 2 just so you know everything there is to know, okay? First, we got capture, and there are 4 ways to capture, right? You got unexpected, like pattern interrupts, novelty. Recognizable, like when you see something you recognize, like a celebrity or Nike or Coca-Cola, or maybe even somebody that's struggling the same way that you are. By the way, number 1, anything that really pops out, that sticks out, maybe some dude hanging upside down, or I don't know, something on fire, like that's number 1. It's unexpected, right? I didn't explain it immediately because it just seemed like obvious, but I should have. So recognizable, you see, you're scrolling and you see Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, you're like, oh yeah, that stops me because I recognize that. Or Henry Cavill, or a video game character, Kratos, whatever. Number 3 is desirable. So everybody has desires. They want certain things. If you see a bunch of money, you might stop. If you see a pretty opposite or whatever gender you're attracted to, you might stop. You might be like, oh wow, they're attractive, and that's how humans work, right? So wealth, aspirations, lifestyle, emotional triggers, yeah, that could work too. Okay, and then number 4 is intense, high-speed stuff. A lot of number 4 are when people clip movies, I notice. But also movies hit number 2. Hell, they hit all of them, to be honest with you, depending on the movie. But yeah, if you start with a car chase, or if you got a clip of a cop pulling somebody over, you're going to get number 4. Got it? Why the viewer stops scrolling. Not why they stay. This is just why they stop. Okay? Then we're going to move on to the second C, which is curiosity. So the way that you keep people to the end is, my favorite way is incomplete, right? You open a loop, you don't release all the info right at first. And I'm going to give you guys a few examples later. But like, I didn't expect this to happen. That's a solid text hook. Or the thing that I said earlier, like what I thought getting a cat would be like versus, that's incomplete, right? Versus what? What it's actually like. And that's how people stay to the end because you've opened the loop, you haven't closed it, right? So incomplete, and then number 2 is impossible. Yeah, things that are just impossible to believe. I don't see that one a whole lot. I guess, yeah, maybe it's not in my algorithm. And then stakes, suspense, anticipation for number 3, just uncertain, like everything. Like Mr. Beast hits all 3 of these, but number 3 the most, right? The most stakes, you kind of want to see what happens. So let's say he's dropping a train into a hole or something like that. There's no open loop here. You know what's going to happen, but you still stay, and that's because number 3, right? Anything with Mythbusters, it's number 3. Okay, so we got the 2 C's. You guys understand this? Everything is good together? Yeah, you can definitely combine them together. You have to, because you capture them first, and then you keep them, right? And so then you'll get the third now, and once you do all 3, you're good to go. That's it. So I hope everybody understands this. Say yes if you got it, and we're going to move on. So my voice is going out. Yes, Japan artist, nice. Okay, so jumping back to the million view method, what you model, when you model what works and you take a structure that's proven to get 1 million views, you don't have to worry about the stuff I just now taught you, right? If you go and you see viral videos and you break down the structure and then you put in your niche, you already know it works. It already got millions of views. So that one, when you do that, when you model what works, it comes pre-packed with curiosity and capture. And so that's why it's so easy. But the third one is different, okay? So the third one is what I find I have to teach most people, and I have to teach them like all the time. And it's totally fine. But I said I've reviewed over 1,800 shorts, and so yeah, so far this next C is super important. And it's kind of like the linchpin that makes these other 2 work, because if you don't do the third one, then your short will suck and it won't get views, okay? All right, here we go. It's called clarity. All right, I have a couple clients that I'll talk about here, but first, so the first thing about clarity is it needs to be visually clean, all right? A lot of people will put multiple things to look at. Sometimes they'll put 2 pieces of text at the same time, and you can't read 2 pieces of text at once. And then it's like, well, what are you showing? What do you want us to look at, right? Always ask that. What am I trying to make the viewer look at? It should be one thing, only one thing, okay? And you can have multiple things in it, right? But if you've got like a character here and you want them to look at that character, and then you got a character that they're talking to, like you could blur this one a little bit in the background to give depth, or you could, if they're going back and forth, move the camera to them, move it like this, right? When you start watching viral shorts, you'll notice that they're easy to watch, and they're like where you look kind of stays in the same spot the entire time, right? That's called the eye line, okay? And the eye line is, guys, pay attention to me right now, where my eyes are. This is the eye line, the white one, okay? The yellow one is subtitles. That's where those go. And the reason that they go so high is because you want it to avoid the shorts overlay area, right? Keep in mind, I'm giving you some free gifts at the end of this, so that's a clue as to one of them. But yeah, so that's the eye line. You want to keep it where my eyes are, but it's not called the eye line because my eyes are there, right? It's called the eye line because that's where you want them to look, and it's easiest if it's there. You can make the eyes go down here or here, but when you switch to the next shot, you better make it here where they're looking, because if you put it like way up there, then you're creating friction for the viewer. And so if the eyes are darting all around, that's a problem, and they'll swipe because it's annoying, right? Anything you do to take their dopamine away, like you're now competing with the dopamine of a swipe. And so that is the eye line and subtitle area. And then, yeah, keep it effortless. Yeah, you just don't want it to be messy. You want it to be easy to watch, right? Okay, then we've got conceptually simple. This one's really tough. It's tough to like articulate this in a way without giving you an exact example, but I'll try. We have we had a Dark Souls player, or Elden Ring, and they had a lot of things going on at the same time, and it was kind of difficult to understand what the point of the video was. And so when you have one full idea, like I think he started like he would jump off the edge, and the idea was, okay, what happens when he hits the ground? But then he fights a boss right after, and then the question becomes, is he going to beat the boss? And it's like at this point you've tried to smash two shorts together, and people are like, they kind of didn't want all that cognitive load. If you're trying to teach something, you make it. I have recently had one about mosquitoes, and the mosquitoes, he said he had a joke about them being like bees. And so, did you know mosquitoes are actually bees? Was the idea that I gave him, and then it explained the three things that meant, right? And it's kind of a joke, but that would have been a great short. But his short included 20 different facts, and it wasn't a list. It was just like, in this, and this, and this, and this is why it's like Jurassic Park. And it's like, just keep it very, very simple, okay? So if you are in Minecraft, you want one goal to be it, right? If you're like setting up stakes, just make it one idea. That's the rule of one. Common language. This is something, I have another client, a real estate client, and they made a short about the market or something like that, and they were saying words that I don't really recognize or remember. I got my real estate license a long time ago, but I didn't remember the stuff that they were talking about. And so that gave them, like, that's the ultimatum right there. Do you want to appeal to only these people that understand that, or do you want to appeal to everybody? And the answer is always, I want to appeal to everybody, unless you're selling very, very high ticket things as a business, like coaching or consultations or whatever. And so naturally she wanted to do like millions of people, and I said, you need to simplify your language to where a fourth grader can understand. And all the books behind me, all of these business books, every single one of them says the same thing: fourth grade reading level, fourth grade reading level. I think Hormozy says third grade, but it's like they need to understand it, like fourth grade cognition level, right? And so that is conceptually simple. Don't use words that a fourth grader won't understand. That's it. And so when you go and you watch my YouTube videos, you'll find that I don't say any words that a fourth grader won't understand. I try to keep them very dumb. And so, yeah, I always say the shorts viewer, naturally, they're not dumb, but their mind is at the moment they're scrolling. Okay? So just keep that in mind. And then if the stakes are immediately obvious, that's conceptually simple. So don't make people feel like they have to remember shit. That's clarity. Okay? And make it easy to watch. So, hold on one sec. Okay, before my voice goes out, let's get to the end. Okay, so something cool about that real estate client is that I gave her the perfect hook, which you're about to learn in secret number 3. Spoiler. Actually, I spoiled it already. But, yeah, you're going to learn it, and she ended up getting her first million-view video with it, and that's pretty exciting. So, the perfect hook, for those that don't know, it's about to go down, okay? She used the perfect hook. It helped her blow up, and she made some good money because of it. But before we get to the perfect hook, there is one more part to the scroll stop system, and it's like super valuable, right? I asked you another question: would you be willing to share it with somebody else? And the way that I learned this, back when I joined vidIQ, I learned a very, very important lesson, and I'll show you how I learned it, because I got them brought up right here. When I applied to be the thumbnail designer for vidIQ, these were the thumbnails I sent. They said, send one. I sent however many this is. And this one was my favorite. But when I talked to them after I was hired, I was talking to Jeff. And Jeff said, I don't even know that it's about YouTube. I'm like, shit. He's like, I don't even know it's really about hooks in the right way. He said, you're being too clever, right? It's always clarity over cleverness, and that's what I needed to learn, right? I thought I knew everything, but I clearly didn't. And a lot of these are really kind of hard to pick out that it has something to do with YouTube. And so that was it. Like this one, all this says is 5 minutes. 5 minutes to what, right? It doesn't clearly get the idea across, and I was relying on the title too much. And so, yeah, like it's just that was a hard lesson to learn, right? I was locked in my creator cave. I didn't have outside perspective until I finally got it. Then I'm like, oh my God, I have wasted a shit ton of time. And so that's the second part of the the 3 C's, the number 2, right? You get perspective, like outside perspective. That's really what it's about. And so that's when I learned how important it was. And so it's not just everybody's perspective. If you ask your mom, she's gonna be like, "Oh, honey, it's sweet, right? It's nice. That's nice, honey." And so you want creator friends, people that are in. I never had any, right? When I started, I only had like gamer friends, and I was in Germany, and so like, who the fuck was I gonna talk to? And so now we have plenty of creators in the community. Like, join the Discord community, the free community. The link is in the description. That's what it's for. Ask people, where did you get lost? Like, was this confusing? Was it stupid? Did you have a hard time watching? Like, when did you swipe? That's the question that I would ask, right? And so you want that unfiltered raw reaction, right? That's really what it's about. And so, yeah, it's that simple. It's as simple as showing somebody, when did you get bored? When did you stop watching? Did anything confuse you? And yeah, when you do that, your short will either work or it won't, and you'll know why. But yeah, this is why I don't get annoyed when I have to like repeat info, because when people submit their shorts and everything, this is what I'm doing. I'm providing outside perspective that they wouldn't get otherwise, right? But please join the Discord. Like, that's what it's for. People are in there, they want to help, okay? And so, yeah, just a reminder, I always put that there. The reviews are coming up, right? So you know the viral hook formula, that was number 1, and you know how to stop the scroll before you submit, that was number 2. But now I want to give you my most powerful secret. I wouldn't say it's the most powerful, but it's mine, right? It's the hook that changed everything for me, the one that got me 500 million views, the one that paid me enough to quit my job, the perfect hook! Here it is. This is my argument to the algorithm doesn't push me. And the reason is because when you use the perfect hook, it doesn't matter what the algorithm wants. It's what people want. It's how their brains work. And so when you use the perfect hook, it's like they have no choice but to keep watching. And it's a hook I don't see used often, but I'm going to teach it to you, okay? Humans are the deal here. And I know it feels that way, like the algorithm won't push me. I felt that way a long time. But yeah, once I actually got this, I'm like, oh, okay, you know, it really is psychology. And so back when I was feeling that way, I was teaching people how to go viral with vidIQ, and I hadn't gone viral yet. And so there's this movie called Dogma that I always get this quote. It always comes back to me, and I'm gonna play it for you now.
I can inspire anyone I need and give out 1,000,009 ideas a second, but I can't keep any for myself.
I can inspire and give out 1,009 ideas a second, but I can't keep any for myself. Like, that's how I felt. I was helping people get millions of views, but I couldn't keep any for myself. It helped build my reputation, which was good for this business, but until I got it for myself, I felt like the muse, right? That was just how it was. And I didn't have much time to try. Like, the algorithm was beating me down for a long time, and like it does everybody, but once I was able to nail that fire truck story, I obsessed over it, and then I figured it out. And so when you notice a pattern of success, you double down, you triple down, and that's what I did with this perfect hook, right? 500 million views later, not only my views, but my clients. That's how this works, so let's get to it. Here is the perfect hook, and I'm going to play it for you now. I don't know if I'll play it, and then I'll explain it, okay?
Nobody was buying this man's food, so he took out his iPhone and he glued it to the ground in front of his stand. And as people walked by, they would notice it, but they wouldn't draw attention to it. Instead, they would stand over it and order some food. And once the man turned around to get their order ready, they would pretend to drop something, go to pick it up, and they'd try to pick up the iPhone as well. Only, it wouldn't budge. So awkwardly, they'd stand back up, only to be met with the food that they now have to pay for. Ridiculous or genius?
Is that distracting? Okay, so after I did this, it turns out the algorithm didn't hate me. I felt pretty good about it. I hadn't been consistent enough with what I was doing, but once I figured this out, I was good to go. And so each video made over $1,000 or $2,000. I want to show you this, and then I'm going to teach it to you. I have all these notes written down. I realize I am overqualifying it, and so I probably won't say this anymore. But here is this. You guys get it. It's good. This one made, what, 6,000, 4,000, 3,000, 2,000, 2,000, 2,000. Like, these were all the perfect hook. I'm not doing a income claim here. Like, I'm not saying it'll work the exact way for you, but if you understand it, maybe you'll come up with your own version, or maybe it'll work for you. I don't know. But this is what I did, and it worked, and I just really want to share it. So, here we go. Perfect hook. Let's get to it. Step number 1. We got steaks, okay? The way that story started was nobody was buying this man's food, right? And I always start with like really easy steaks, because if you start high, then you have to go higher, and it makes the story kind of difficult. If it's a true story, and it's a great story, then I guess you don't have to worry about low stakes. But this is where I go. I go low. So it could be anything like nobody would play Minecraft with me. My cat wouldn't eat his food. I'm trying to think of all your others. FIFA. Somebody stole my kid's soccer ball. I don't know. Like that's a little higher of stakes, but if like that's actually pretty good. Somebody stole my kid's soccer ball. Just you got to wait for step 2 to make that make sense. But yeah, the simpler and the more human the problem, the more it will resonate and people will understand it easier. Nobody was buying this man's food resonates with a 4th grader gets it, right? Nobody will buy this man's food, right? And so that's a better way to say it than like this man spent all day without a single customer. Like you're adding cognitive load and you're making it harder to understand. And so these are the things that I try to pay attention to. Nobody was buying this man's food. And so the step number 2 was the unexpected action. It's got to be like nothing related to the stakes, but it brings the solution to the stakes. And so he glued his phone to the ground, right? So he took out his iPhone and he glued it to the ground. And the action is like totally illogical. It makes no sense, and it's completely impossible to ignore because it's like how does that connect? How does that make sense at all, right? The viewer's brain can't resist it, right? They can't resist, or it can't rest until it understands that these two things are connected. It can't resist watching is what I was going to say. And so it keeps them watching. And the real estate clients that I had, they used the perfect hook, and that was the first one that they got millions of views. So let me explain how she did it. Before, she had like a marketing video, and it was these are the marketing news or whatever. It was like, or no, yeah, the real estate market news. This is what happened, and she filled in her real estate buddies or whatever. But when she used the perfect hook, I asked her, hey, do you have like something low stakes, something dumb that you're dealing with, something like just slightly annoying? And she said, yeah, my signs keep disappearing, my for sale signs. And so I asked her like, what's happening? Like, are the wind blowing them over? Are people picking them up or whatever? And she said, I don't know, but yeah, I think we kind of made it up, sort of, that somebody was ripping them out. Like it was a theory, right? Somebody kept ripping out my for sale signs, and that's what the stakes were. That's exactly how she started it. Somebody keeps ripping up my for sale signs, and then the step number 2, it has to be totally unrelated to real estate, for sale signs, anything, right? So I bought a baseball bat, and that was the unexpected hook. And so the baseball bat, it makes it extra special because it seems like she's about to beat some ass, right? It really like just created a lot of curiosity. But in the end, the baseball bat she used to hammer it down. I think she said, well, I could hammer it down with a tool or whatever. I'm like, yeah, but if you said baseball bat, that really makes the perfect hook pop. And so she used it to knock the signs deeper into the ground. And so here's a couple other examples of the perfect hook. It works in every niche. So like gaming, I was about to hit diamond rank, and so I switched my controller. It's like, why would you do that? It's totally illogical, right? But if there's a way to connect this and make it make sense to solve the thing that you're dealing with, yeah, it works, okay? I couldn't lose weight, so I started eating more. Caitlin Poland, I think she actually used that hook at one point. And so, like, why would you start eating more if you can't lose weight? But if eating more fixed the weight thing, then that's the perfect hook. I was broke, so I stopped saving money. If it made sense in the end, that's the perfect hook. Nobody would eat my food, so I started charging more for it. That's just how premium works, right? And so that's the perfect hook there, right? It works for every niche. Just think of yours, right? Think of something that is so dumb but annoying, and then do something totally ridiculous that will solve that issue. Okay? Actually, I think I had a music artist do this too, where nobody was listening to my track, so I found my biggest hater. That's what it was. And so it seems like, wow, why is he stalking people? But it turned out he kept putting nasty reviews about his music on whatever website and Reddit, and then people started defending him, and they're like, actually, it's not that bad. It's kind of good. And he ended up getting fans, but nobody knew that he was the hater in the first place. And so it kind of ended up being like this roundabout way. Anyway, so every time I used the perfect hook, it always went viral. And after the fifth one, I realized, hey, I got to quit my job or I'm actually losing money. And so that's why I started making thousands in a day. Like, why would I stay at a job if I could make thousands? Like, if you had the choice, you'd probably leave too, right? Like, I hope that's not crazy. And eventually, I stopped doing it, but that was for a totally different reason. And so, my last video of vidIQ right before I left was how much shorts actually make now. That's when I'm like, hey, this is how much my shorts are making, and if you want proof, you can go and watch that video. I show all of my analytics back then, and I don't know, a lot of people really like that video. And so, I actually think I cover the perfect hook in that, but I call it the mega viral shorts formula. And so, at that point, I'd forgotten about the algorithm. I'm like, hell yeah. And so, yeah, let's recap for a second, and then we're going to get to these shorts reviews, okay? You now have the strategy. You know the viral shorts formula, the AVT method, the audio, visual, text. You know how to break down any short and then steal the architecture of it, like the format, right? Just like that guy with the books or the FIFA example. And so, you got that, then that's secret one. Then secret number 2, scroll stop system. We got the 3 C's, capture, curiosity, and then clarity. Clarity is so important, otherwise nobody wants to watch. And that's secret 2. And secret number 3 is the perfect hook. We just covered it. You start with low stakes, and then you introduce a totally unexpected, illogical action, and that's the perfect hook. Okay, cool. All right, so yeah, you can't really unlearn it. You're gonna like start. When I started doing music, I didn't listen to music the same way anymore. It's fucking awful. It sucked because I can't not hear the individual instruments now. I can't hear lyrics, but that's a totally different problem. But yeah, like I dissect the music now. Instead of just listening to a song and enjoying it, I have to watch it or I have to listen to it like an asshole. And so that's how you're gonna watch shorts now. You're gonna start seeing descriptor and niche authority and stuff as you hear people talk. But it's a good, if you want to go viral, that's a great way to do it. You start listening to it as, you start watching it as a marketer, and it really does work, okay? That's what I do. So yeah, if you do these things, if you try the perfect hook, nothing should stop you from getting millions of views, okay? This is the only thing that'll stop you, okay? You can't unlearn this. You're probably going to see it a lot more. This is the only thing. It's you getting in your way, okay? You can't go back to thinking the algorithm is the problem now. You can do this, all right? But there's 2 paths you can go down, and number 1, you can do it on your own. Some of you are going to take everything you've learned, and you can do it, and you can be like, hey, I did this, and fuck yeah, that's what I want. I'm rooting for you. That's why I built the webinar. I want people to take those 3 things and run with it, and then share with me the results when you get them, okay? But then there's other people that are thinking something different, and you're thinking maybe I get it, I believe it, but I want somebody who's been there to help me out along the way, right? I don't want to waste an entire day editing if my hook is shitty, and if that's you, then I have something special that we put together for you. I said I was going to make an offer. This is that moment. If you guys don't mind, I want to take like 5-10 minutes to just show you it, and then we're going to get to shorts reviews. If you're cool with that, just say yes, and then yes. And yes, it is live. I see your message. So yeah, do you guys mind if I take a quick 10 minutes to go over this? I'm so excited because we just combined it all into like a much different thing. I think a lot of people are going to really, really like it. You want to see it? Yes, yes? Okay. Whatever you want to do, man. Okay, hell yeah. Okay, all right. Thank you, guys. Cool. All right. I feel honored. Thank you for the permission. First, let me say I fucking hate AI. I'm sick of it. I have been for a while, but recently I had an epiphany, and the epiphany was like, well, how would I make AI better? What if you could take all of your knowledge and pack it into like a topic or a data set, like all your knowledge on a topic, and put it into like one data set, and then you could ask that data set questions. right? You would get the knowledge, only the knowledge. It wouldn't be all the bullshit off Google or Reddit. It would just be what you know, right? What if you had years of live streams, videos, emails, coaching calls, conversations, all focused on one specific goal, like YouTube advice? I don't have to wonder anymore because I have that data set. I have like 5 years of YouTube advice all packed together into one data set. I put it all together. That's the benefit of you being chronically online. And so what do you do with over 1,000 hours of that data? Well, you make JonBot. This is JonBot. And I don't like the way it looks because it looks like a ChatGPT or whatever, but literally it's all me. It's all my transcripts. And so people have been trying to stump it and ask it different things, but it can't answer what I don't know. It can't answer what I never said. And so like every coaching call is in there, every question I've ever answered. Like if you ask it, somebody asked it like what my favorite food was between cereal and soup or something like that, and it was like, I don't know. And then I answered it. I think I said cereal, and then now it can answer that question because we put the transcript in there. And so, yeah, this is just like, it's all of my knowledge into a robot, right? And so if you were to ask JonBot anything, it'll answer you exactly like me, unless I decided that I was wrong about something and I hadn't live streamed the correction, and so I would change that, right? He's smart at one thing, making viral content, and that's it. It's everything that I've talked about online, so that's JonBot. You could call him AI, but you'd be exaggerating. He's not that versatile, okay? Now, do you remember the story when I said I got super obsessed with hooks and I had that Chrome extension that I wanted to get all my shorts notes? Well, when I got obsessed with hooks, I started breaking them down to figure out what I was missing, and I started to notice that viral hook formula, the audio visual text. And so I showed this earlier, but I'll show it again. This is HookBomb here, and these are all the hooks that I've manually put in there, right? I write down the viral hooks, I sort them by niche, and this is it. This is HookBomb, okay? And so over time, we fill it up more and more, and we're trying to get it to 1,000. I think it's like at 350 or 400 or something like that. And I use that to teach the method to people, and when they ask me for a hook, I just go and I either find their niche or their neighbor niche, and then I pitch them the hook. And so, yeah, all of the research that I did on hooks, I put it into a tool, and it's called HookBomb. That's HookBomb right there. And so, yeah, HookBomb, I just manually enter the stuff. And so there's no AI involved with it. It's a slow process, but at least it's like accurate. And so when people would ask for more hooks in certain niches, I'd say, hey, I'm working on it. I'm trying to add it, but it takes a little bit longer. Like we had science and stuff that took a while to add, but eventually we got some in there. And so, yeah, these are just hooks that are proven to work. They all got millions of views. And so that's kind of where I go for really, really good hooks. Instead of you watching the shorts feed constantly, that's HookBomb, right? And then we're just adding more and more and more. That's like the whole point. Anyway, it's overwhelming to try to add so many more. And so I built a tool to help people do what I do with HookBomb, and that is called HookThief. And HookThief, you can paste a short in there, and then it breaks it down just like I would, because JonBot is the brain of HookThief. And so it takes what I would do, and it breaks down the exact short in the format that I would do for HookBomb. And so we have used HookThief to add some things to HookBomb, and then I just add my own personal notes as John, because I am John, if you guys didn't know. And so I'm like, hell yeah, this worked. What else is JonBot capable of? Like, that's fucking crazy. Well, if he knows the best hooks, HookBomb, and he knows like what I would do with an idea, he knows how to make good viral ideas if somebody gives him one, right? He can't just come up and say, hey, do this. But if you have an idea for a video, you can drop it in to Hookmaker. And that's how Hookmaker was made, right? You have this idea for a video, and then you can specify like what the vibe is, content type, whatever. I usually just say let JonBot decide, because they come up with really good ones, and I'll show you guys how it works here in a minute. And like, genuinely, this is the first time I've been impressed by a tool that had some AI with it. But like I said, it's not really AI, it's just a database of all the shit that I've said on the internet. And so I don't know, it's really, really cool. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. Like I'm constantly impressed by the stuff that it does by combining JonBot and HookBomb. But I didn't stop there. I thought, wait, if JonBot could do all that, why would I not allow my community to ask him directly if their hook was good? Right? Like before they upload it. Like I said that we would do with the 3 C's, right? I say, hey, get outside perspective. It's really, really important. What if we had a tool to do that? What if you don't want to share it with people, but you want to share it with JonBot? And that's how Hook Rater came about. So you upload your short, it rates the hook, it tells you if it's good or not, it tells you why it's good or not, and it tells you what to change or leave alone. I've uploaded probably like, now probably like 200 shorts, I'd say. And I haven't disagreed with it, but I will say the rating, it's like sometimes you'll get 5 out of 10, sometimes 8 out of 10. It's confusing for a lot of people because they think it's rating their entire video. It's not. It's rating the hook. And so, it's the name, Hook Rater. But just know that when you use it, it's not judging your entire thing. It's just judging what creates tension and curiosity. And so, yeah, but I didn't stop there. So Hook Finder, this is like a bonus tool that I made where you paste your live stream or podcast link, and then it takes JonBot's brain and it identifies moments of tension, things that are worth clipping. It's not like a clipper. It's not going to go and pick out a clip and just say, hey, that's good, because that's bullshit. AI can't do that. I'm not going to say any brand names, but things can't just go and find a perfect clip, like if it doesn't have a good resolve. Those tools identify dynamic words, and they go with that, right? Here, let's say you're a gamer and you drop in your Fortnite game. What it's going to do is it's going to find moments of tension, moments that you started to get scared, or there was a question being asked, or you don't know what's going on, and then it says, okay, this is a good starting point. Here would be a really good ending. And it says that. It doesn't know if it's in there or not, but you kind of take that idea and you put it together. The point is, I don't fucking make tools that do it for you. I just make tools that empower you to be a better creator. I'm not going to go on a rant, but yeah, this is not just an AI clipping tool. It's to teach you. It's to help you. It's like a point you in the right direction, because that was like the biggest problem I noticed with our gaming creators in the community. It's like, okay, this part's okay, but like if you go 20 minutes back, there's like a way better hook. And so I wanted to make a tool that does that for live streams and podcasts. If you drop a long form in there, it's not going to do the same thing. It's not worth that. Okay. So yeah, that's it. That's Hook Finder there. And so these 5 tools, I call it Hook OS. It's like our hook system, and it's a part of Attention OS. Attention OS Pro. Okay. That's the hook system, only the hook system. You're going to see all these other little things on here. I'm going to explain it. Okay, JonBot isn't only the brain. You can actually talk to him inside the software. And so, yeah, you can ask me anything, but I don't know how much to charge for that, because like 1,000 hours of use, like 5 years packed in, I couldn't come up with a price. So he's included, okay? Okay, so all these together, but there's more. Remember Sound Like a Smart Creator? I brought that book up. That's in there, okay? But here's the thing. You know what? I'll leave that for the end. But that's in there, okay? So, yeah, the secret one where I said, this isn't copying that. Yeah, that's in there. It's exciting. Okay, and then remember in Secret 2 when I said your shorts need to be easy to watch? Remember when I brought up this overlay over me and I said, hey, pay attention to this. This is at the end. That's the overlay pack. And the overlay pack actually has more to it, which I will show you, because I added something like recently. I don't know if anybody noticed, but it's exciting because it's for live streamers, and I made it for one of our members. Yeah, here we go. And so you can see right there, it's kind of hard to see, but if I can zoom in, you'll see that there's like a bonus for clip overlays, and so I dropped those in there too. Exciting. Okay, so this is the pack of overlays. The eyeline overlays are included. But yeah, and this is what I'm most excited about, the perfect hook and everything. It made $20K a month, and I actually have a couple books coming out called the Story Hook Cookbook. I'll just show you this picture here. Story Hook Cookbook, it's going to have like 7 more that I used that made some good money, and then Hater Breaker, it's like this epiphany that I had to not care about hate comments, and so that's coming later in the summer, okay? So are 2 other tools that are coming later in the summer. All right, that's not all. That's not all. We're just getting started. Okay, so the 3D Masterclass, this is the first thing I came out with. It's 6 courses in one on how I made those viral shorts. Like, not just the hook, not just the writing, but all of it. And so here's where I get my ideas. I know somebody said, ideas are so hard to come by. Storytelling, that's all included there. And then there's editing, there's how to use Blender. This is all like a 2-hour packed course dispersed into 6 modules. Okay, so that's it, but that's not all. That's not all. you get VIP access. All right. What is VIP? VIP is on Mondays you get guaranteed live shorts reviews. So everybody submits for shorts reviews, but on Mondays I cover the VIPs for the first hour. And then Wednesdays we do special VIP events like channel audits, algorithm updates, that sort of thing. Recently we had them upload their short ahead of time so I could help them edit it, and I'm gonna release a video about that later in the week because it came out really, really well. Saturdays we have private Q&As with me, so everybody gets to ask questions. That's kind of what this is, what it looks like. Everybody's just in there chatting with me. And then in the private Discord here, which I'll bring up just to show, if you drop in, you'll see, if you go to our Discord, you'll see this on VIP. It just says unlock access, but all this stuff you get access to. But that's not all. One last thing, I believe. With the VIP in the tool, you get a VIP area. And inside the VIP area, all the channel audit replays are there. All the Q&A replays are there. And then you have a private podcast, which is really cool. And then the scroll stop sessions, which we just did. I still got to edit it, but that goes in there too. And so that's also included. And so here's everything that you'd be getting today when you invest, okay? The JonBot, the HookBomb software, the 3D Masterclass, Sound Like a Smart Creator book, Ultimate Overlay Pack. I added Ultimate because it made it sound cooler, to be honest with you. It's just the overlay pack. The Real Creator Community, and the full Attention OS software, which is this. All of this together, okay? That's Attention OS Pro. There's JonBot there. A couple of downloads. Hell yeah. All right. You get all that. It's worth $605 a month, but it's $47 a month. All of it included. Get to chat with me like 3 times a week, actually all the time, but you get to ask me questions, get the live reviews, get access to all the tools, $47 a month, okay? Yeah, and you can get 30 days, your money back, that's it, right? No questions, just if you don't like it, it's fine, right? I just give you your shit back, that's it. We walk our separate ways, that's it. I don't want your money if you don't want to give it, that's it. So, that's it, man. Go to hooks.sale and go put in your payment information and join the VIP group. Sorry, I've been like struggling with the water. I didn't realize I had another one here. Okay, let's get to the live reviews. And then we'll do questions, and that's that. So, hooks.sale is where you want to go. I'll show you what it looks like, just for fun. Hooks.sale. That's it. And then you can review all the stuff that you want, if you want, but you just heard it all. That's hooks.sale. Okay. Let me bring up the people that we are reviewing. I put them in a pile. Here we go. So, I picked so many. I'll get to that one last. So this first one is called the Lucky LXMI. Let's watch that one.
I came across an artist whose work really stayed with me. The way she used simple creative exercises as a way to slow down and focus. You place a small rock on a sheet of paper and gently guide it with your pen. Instead of deciding where every line should go, you are simply following the movement of the rock. Sometimes it will roll off. Sometimes it will get stuck. Just put it back and restart, and your pen just follows. What I love about this exercise is that it removes the pressure of making something look good. You're not planning, you are simply responding. And I think that's why it feels so calming. Because for a few minutes, you stop trying to control everything. Once the pages fill up with the organic shapes, I like to go back in and add colors or patterns. So try it and let me know how it feels. I came across an
It's a good vibe. I'm going to tell you what I would change, and I'm also going to drop it in the Hook Reader just so you can kind of see what that looks like. Hook Reader is supposed to be, I can show you actually. Hook Reader is typically you upload a video right here, but you can also do a shorts link if you happen to have already made it. Okay, so the first thing I notice is that you start by saying I found an artist who did this, and I wouldn't. I would start by just giving the tip yourself and saying like, here's a fun exercise you can do or whatever, but I would change the hook. So I would start like this, But the one thing that you should probably do is make it this way. And so if there's an angle that you can make it not sideways, this just creates a tiny bit of friction for people. And so everybody kind of wants it to be straight on, if that's possible for you.
As a way to slow down and focus. You place a small rock on a
So this tutorial part is totally fine. And here is what the hook is. So it's too vague is what it says. It's a slow wind up to you discovering an artist. It's not the action itself, which is just what I was saying. The visual of the rock is strange and curious. That's what I thought too. And yeah, so it's like more of like a tutorial anyway. And then here are a couple things. It shows you how it's leaking attention. There's no open loop or question, which there's not. If you want hook ideas, try this. Place your rock on the paper and I'll draw. That would make me wonder, like, what is she doing, right? This simple exercise removes all pressure from making good art. That's solid. If you overthink your art, let the rock make the decisions. I like that hook. I would say, if you overthink your art, go get a rock. And then, yeah, that's exactly how I would say it. If you say let the rock make your decisions, it almost makes it too convoluted. And so if you say go get a rock, now you're talking to the fourth grader. And that's the point I was making earlier. So that's how I would start. If you overthink your art, go grab a rock. And then you go through the tutorial and then cut it down to 30 seconds. I say that because there's a lot of fluff, and just make it the tutorial. And at the end, you are coloring it in, and then you show the finished result, and you will have a lot more retention. Like, a lot of people will stick around. But when you start, it almost seems like it's about the artist instead when you start, and it's a bit misleading. Okay, this guy. Oh man, this guy's awesome. He has made so many videos, but I gotta go grab the right one, sorry. Yeah, day 498. I went and looked, he's made this many shorts. And so as soon as I saw that, I immediately knew that he was getting picked. All the others were random, but I purposely picked this guy because of that. That kind of consistency it's unmatched, man. It's freaking awesome. Okay.
Real life cheat code for happiness.
Okay, solid start, but let's unmute it.
It's not money.
Sorry, 1 sec.
Want a real life cheat code for happiness? It's not money. Gratitude changes your brain. It literally rewires how you see your life. When you start noticing what's working, things like your health, your efforts, the people who show up for you, you stop feeling stuck. The opportunities don't just suddenly appear. You just finally start to see them. So try this. Name 3 things that are going right today. Simple but powerful. Because a grateful mind is a magnet for more. So if you haven't heard it yet today, or you need to hear it again, please know that I love you. I am so proud of you. And as always, I'm so full for you. So don't go out and make today a good day. Choose to make it a great one. What's up, guys?
Okay, so the length is one thing I noticed. It seemed like you were ending, but then you wouldn't. And then it felt like it again, and then it just kept going. And so the idea is admirable, and I love it. The first thing I would think is there needs to be some sort of credibility here. I need to know who you are. And so the first thing I would do is I would start storytelling instead. You're giving a lot of advice, but if nobody knows who you are or where it's coming from, it's just that. It's nice advice, okay? And so you'll get viewers that will like nice advice, but when you start storytelling and you really start putting in your credibility, your input bias, whatever, like, you don't have to have done anything amazing. You just have to have had an experience that somebody can connect to. Right now, you're pitching stuff that has wide relevance, but it's so wide, it's like you're throwing everything out there. And so your goals for your channel might not be what my advice is going to lead you to do. But what I would do is, one thing that you could quickly do to increase your credibility is get into a room and set up a podcast studio vibe. You don't even have to have anybody there to ask you a question, but you could pretend like they asked you the question, and then that's immediate credibility, right? I just wouldn't say, hey, I'm on a podcast, right? Just like make it feel that vibe. and people are like, okay, this guy must be important. He was on a podcast. That's like one tiny trick you can do. But the easier way to go about this is just to go and see what kind of people give this type of advice, and then see why theirs went better. I didn't have time to go and search for like wisdom or daily wisdom or anything like that, but I know like if you're talking to somebody else, there's immediate input bias, and so there's credibility in that. People are like, okay, there's something going on here. But you come across a lot of channels like this. It's like, who is this guy? And so it sucks because the things you say are like really, really nice. But the best part of this was your actionable advice. Do these 3 things. I think you said something like that. And so if I were to study anybody, I would go Jefferson Fisher on the back end of like when he first started Instagram. He was in his car. He's giving advice. It's actionable advice. Here's how you handle this thing. And he just built it up from there. I don't think he ever mentioned that he was an attorney, but now he's like one of the top attorneys in Texas because he built and just by giving actionable advice. So that's what I see for you. I think that it could really work. When you start giving actionable advice, people are like, great, okay, thanks, I'm going to come back. But you have to give it immediately, right? Here are 3 ways to do this. Number 1. Like, there you go. That's it. But you kind of beat around the bush a lot in a good way. Like, it's nice the way that you're doing it, but it's not marketing the way that you're doing it. And so I hope that helps, man, because this is a lot of effort, and I hope you join the community, whether it's the paid or the free one. I hope to see it in there because this is like so cool. Okay. All right, Mighty Ray. It's another one.
My teammate was going 2-8, and I told him not to swap.
VP, you're making a swap here. You're 2-8. Fucking Moon Knight, you're done on the DPS role.
Just because you're 2-8 doesn't mean you should swap. And a lot of you guys aren't gonna like this, but this guy's getting flamed because of his score. But if you actually watch what's happening in the game, you would see his value. We're getting rolled over by Dino, but we have Emma and Moon Knight. So this shouldn't be a problem, but it is. But notice how every...
Okay, so I'm definitely not sticking around for that. But I gotta say, you have alienated everybody that doesn't understand what the fuck you're talking about. That's like what we call technobabble. Like if you're into tech and you say words that people don't understand, then those people don't watch you. Okay. Right now, I don't know what, maybe it's like Fortnite or something. Only people that play this know what you're talking. I don't know what swap means, right? But if you explain it in a way that could teach me, then you get me as a viewer too, right? And so think about all the viewers that you push away if they don't know what swap means. And you continue to use those like insider language words. And so that's the first thing that I would fix. Let me go back here.
My teammate was going 2-8, and I told him not to swap.
I don't even know what 2-8 means. I think it's like 2 wins, 8 losses, right?
Swap.
VP.
Not to change character. I think that might, like, that's the only context I can put together. But just keep in mind, like, a shorts viewer typically won't do that, right? You're competing with the next swipe, and the swipe feels so much better than trying to understand. So that's why I say, like, cognitive load is homework, and people don't like to do homework in the short feed. Let me see this, though. Okay, 27,000. Yeah, if you make the changes that I'm saying, you could appeal to a lot more people. But I think your biggest issue is that it just keeps going and going and going and going and going. And I think that this could have performed better if it were like 30 seconds. So how can you fit the story into 30 seconds? That would be my advice to you. Like, make them short and make them pack a punch. And so, like, a lot of the things that you're very good at building a story. You're good at storytelling. And so if you just do it in a shorter package, I think it's going to win for you. Let me listen to the hook again real quick.
My teammate was going 2-8, and I told him not to swap.
Okay, so
you're making a swap here. You're 2-8. Fucking Moon Knight, you're done on the DPS role.
Just because you're 2-8 doesn't mean you should swap. And a lot of you guys aren't gonna like this, but this guy's getting flamed because of his score. But if you actually watch what's happening in the game, you will see his value. We're getting rolled over by Dino, but we have Emma and Moon Knight.
I'm trying to think of a way to hook this. Now that I kind of understand what swap means, If you said, here's why it's a bad idea to swap when your score is low, when your kill death or KD ratio is low, or something like that, but explain it to where people can understand. If you say, here's why it's a bad idea, then you're giving a tip. You're letting people know the explanation is coming. You said, I told him not to swap. Is that a powerful, I don't know, but is that a powerful enough hook that keeps people to the end? Like, why would he say that? I think you immediately explain why you said that, in which case the hook is gone. And so where's the next piece of curiosity? These are just the little things that you should pay attention to, because after you explained it, you say like, he has a lot of value or whatever, and like, okay, we get that, right? But like, why am I continuing to stay? Is like the question you need to answer. I hope this helped a little bit. I don't know much about it. It's Marvel Rivals. I can see that now. But yeah, what I would do is I would go and check out hooks and make it your own story. Like, go and look at hooks that are working in this instance. I mean, I could toss it into Hookmaker. Hold on one second. I have to explain it like an idiot, but I wrote, I want to make a video about why it's a bad idea to swap characters when your kills are low and your deaths are high. I know it's gaming topic. We can do, where is it? Gaming, and then we'll let JohnBot decide the rest. Okay, we'll generate some hooks and let's see what comes out. My shorts are only 5.3 seconds long, so my hooks are in the title. Yeah, I know your shorts. I remember you do high quantity, and your text fills it out, and you're kind of hoping for the replay, I believe. Which I don't think is a great idea, but I'll explain that here in a minute. Okay, so the way I explained it was tough, but the hooks are good. Like, this is why your KD is trash even after you swap. That's a different short, but it's not a bad hook at all. Here's the truth about character swapping and why you're probably doing it wrong. That's pretty good. Like, these are just giving ideas now. If you've ever been losing hard in a game, you've probably thought about swapping characters. Don't. If you said don't, the text hook doesn't really fit there. I always kind of separate these into different videos. But if you said, if you've ever been losing, you probably thought about swapping characters, do not. That is a solid hook, because now the explanation is coming, and it's great. Okay, cool. I'm going to move on to this guy. Here we go. Okay, I'm going to spoil it for you. Nothing else happens. Okay? He just kind of walks the dog around, and it says 9 weeks old. And so the issue here is there's no hook, right? At the beginning, like, okay, you did half the hook. You caught my attention because it's a doggy. But it should probably already be on screen when you start. And so the dog caught my attention, but then there was no curiosity whatsoever. Why am I staying to the end is the question you need to answer. It just says 9 weeks old. It's not saying like, Barky just learned a new trick. If that was a text hook sitting on here, then people are now curious and they want to stay to see the trick. That's how you do shorts. But right now you're just kind of showing, I don't know what it is, but you're showing something. And if you give like a little bit and you make, I think you're a firefighter, right? If you give a little bit to be curious about, it would help a lot. 5-star, dog trainer. Sorry, the pants seemed like a firefighter. Even like this training, this is the hardest part of training. There's a text hook, okay? It doesn't seem like you're speaking a lot, so I'd focus on text hooks. This is the hardest part of training. And so it's like you're walking your dog somewhere, and then like you take a turn, and then it's in the kennel, and then you put him in the cage, like right at the end, because he's going to bed or something like that. Like, people are waiting to see what you mean, and that's how a text hook works, okay? So that's what I would do. I mean, that's really all I got to say. I'm going to do that one last. Let's do this one.
When I realized to
Keeping it real on purpose. I don't know if you're here, but I do hope you see this.
address your questions in that moment when
Yeah, this is how you teach this trick. Yeah, that could be a tutorial, but teaching a trick is so, I don't know, it seems like a long form to me. But how to teach a dog to sit or something like that. I bet there's a ton of shorts like that. Step 1, step 2, step 3. Okay, so the text hook would then be 3 steps to whatever. And that's like, okay, I understand that there's 3 steps. I'm going to stick around for step number 3. And so that's kind of like how I baked a hook into it. But yeah, it's a good idea to do. Does he read chat? No, I don't.
when I realized he had Down syndrome, I just decided to be the best mom to him that I could, and to prove that anything is possible. And now he's 11. So watching him go through life, charming every person he sees, and breaking down the walls that most of us have around us. We have layers and layers around us. But he just gets right to you. Hi, what's your name? Oh, I love you. And then you get a hug and like instant heart melt.
Okay, I watched a lot of this channel just to kind of get a feel of what it was about. I couldn't quite. One sec. My glasses are dying, and when it happens, Meta AI voice starts talking, and I can't talk through it. Okay, so I couldn't quite pinpoint exactly what it was until I watched a couple more, and so. It's like a podcast. And so what I would focus on, like the first step is to watch similar podcasts. And when you see a viral short that they do, kind of pay attention to what's being said in it, right? I'll talk about your presentation here in a second because there's some things that I would correct. But the thing that you want from a podcast clip is a value point. That's it. And so when you watch a clip of a presentation here in a second because there's some things that I would correct. But the thing that you want from a podcast clip is a value point. That's it. And so when you watch a clip of a podcast, it makes you, like, you learn something. It's a full video in itself. That's it. It's not a clip. It doesn't feel like a clip. It might as well be its own full video where there was something that made me curious. And like that's why I wrote this book. Like, do you know what the bystander effect is? No, what is it? Well, in 1964, a 28-year-old bartender was stabbed to death in Queens, and you explain the rest, and then they're like, holy shit, this guy's smart. And everybody that watched it now understands what the bystander effect is, and you fully understand it right at the end. That creates curiosity, and then you leave knowing something new, or like leaving with value, okay? Value can mean something that you just learned, or something that created an emotion. And so this can create an emotion, but it's like, it's not so powerful. It's just a nice thing, right? The emotion typically is a laugh or something really, really sad. But this is just kind of, I'm not going to talk about, I can't. This is why certain clip tools are bad at picking parts with tension and curiosity. It picks, like, it almost seems random sometimes. And so if I went through and I watched your full episode, I'd be able to pick out the moments where the value is, and so it'd be easier. That's why I made Hook Finder. I'm not telling you to get Hook Finder. That's just the difference between it and something like Opus Clips. And so that's why you like want to identify the value, tension, curiosity, whatever. And so this right
to address your questions in that moment.
So it says to address your questions. The missing part is the question, right? So why would not you, but why would the thing start there? Like, I don't know even what's being asked. And so, like, that's the kind of thing. How do I know what value I'm getting if I don't know what value I'm getting is basically it. then the other things here, like basically the actionable tip from that is just to watch other podcasts of a similar nature, see what gets said on the most viral shorts, and then see if you've got something similar, or can you ask a question to, I wouldn't say fabricate it, but like make that clip happen in your next interview. And that's how I would plan it. And then here, the subtitles are fine, but the music is not. The music is getting in the way of the value you're trying to offer. The reason is because it's got words in it, really. So you have this clash of lyrics and then her voice saying stuff. And that's not really what you want. If you ever have music in something like this, it's usually just to build a feeling, and it's just an instrumental. And so that's what I would do if you were trying to build a feeling. But typically, I wouldn't even add music to a podcast clip. And that's really all I got for this one. It would be nice if StreamYard didn't have your like name tags so close to you, or if you have a separate download where you could separate it a little bit easier. And then if you wanted to edit and go back and forth between you, like you ask the question and then your guest say something, like that's a little more advanced. But yeah, these are just the things that that I find with podcasts. So I hope that helps a little bit. Okay, we got a comedian here.
This way he can know what the box one I get for Christmas. Did I put that out there? Let you say. Okay. I'll try one more.
Okay, so
you know that 70% of people in Zimbabwe.
Okay, right there is where it probably should have started. I know you wanted to capture a moment, but like, just so you know, as a shorts viewer is going through and you hear all this volume and clarity, then yours comes up. It's like, I can't understand it because I don't know what's going on. You might want subtitles for something like this, but you started with a point. You said in Zimbabwe, and so like that's an idea that starts, right? But before that, I don't really know what happened. And so you captured a moment that is like nice for you to experience, but the lack of clarity is just like, it's too much for a regular viewer that's just scrolling through all of these million view shorts that are like high dopamine, and then it comes to this and they have to like try to figure it out. And so they swipe, and that's why you're not getting views. It's just confusing people, and they leave within the first like 2, 3, 4 seconds, and it's like 2 minutes long, so the retention rate is just insanely low. But I think my issue was with the channel. I don't really know what it is, and I think it's just because it's new, right? Aspiring artists in comedy, literature, film, and dance. So it's like you have 4 channels in one kind of thing, which can be doable if you're famous, if you've built up a brand. Like right now, everybody would love to be that. I would love to be that, but I have to stay in my lane for a while and build up a bigger and bigger community. And so that's why I'm staying with the shorts reviews and then YouTube advice. And then eventually I want to build out to business and motivational, whatever. But right now I just know that this is what I got to do, and I love it. But so I might pick 1 or 2 and try to like hone in on what. The reason I say that is because if you pick, let's say, comedy, then you can go and you can look at what's working. Success leaves clues. So you see what a comedy channel is doing, and you see like how close do they stand to the camera? Is it like top up? How loud is, like how clear is it? What mic do they use? These are the things, if you really want to do this, then that's the homework you got to do. And so that would be the starting point. That's what I would say. I hope that helps a little bit. There's not much else I can give because it doesn't seem to have much of a direction. Normally I usually can help more. Okay.
Your joy. You'd think I'd learn by now, and I still haven't learned. And here's what they don't tell you about Black Girl Magic. That you have to work twice as hard to be considered half as good. Is it fair? No. Is it right? No.
Okay. So I just want to like give you something quick. I think you belong on long form instead. The shorts are fine, but people aren't primed to listen to this kind of wisdom. And so if you check out a channel called Dry Creek Wrangler School, you'll see that he's doing what you're doing, but it's just a long form version, and he's just dropping wisdom and knowledge. And so I could really, really see that working for you. So that's what I would do. And then here's this one.
Last week, I found out that I barely know them.
I think I started too late.
We manage close to 250 people. And last week, I found out that I barely know them. One of my team members, someone who has worked with me for years, published a book, a whole book on Amazon. It's part of a series that she's been writing for years, and I had no idea.
Okay, so there's a lack of clarity and understanding what your idea is in the first place. And it also takes a long time to say it, which is more like a long form thing. You like pause, and a pause, like the way that you speak, you deliver dynamically, and short viewers swipe. When you take a moment, just a moment to say something, they're like, nah, they leave because you're taking too long. And so when you start, we manage 250 people, and I found out that I barely know them. There's like I have no idea what you're talking about. Now I see the McDonald's stuff in the background, but like that should have been something to present. Like, you got to make me understand what I'm curious about. Right now, it's more of an abstract idea. And so what I would do is I would find viral hooks that work and kind of model your business around them, fill in your blanks into those hooks, and then learn how these hooks work. Learn the rules, then you can break them and you can do them in your own style. But for now, this is just like you started with We Manage, and now it's about somebody's book. And like that's too much cognitive load. Everybody that's watching is now like, I got to remember 2 things now. And so yeah, it's shorts. They got to stay simple, man. That's it, man. I hope that really helped. Okay. All right. So now we're gonna get to the Q&A real quick. Just to recap everything. This is Attention OS Pro, and you got the Shorts Masterclass. John Bott. He's over here answering an old question of mine. All the downloads, ebook, vertical overlay, whatever. I said that I was going to give a gift, and I'm going to here in a minute, right after we do the Q&A. But right now, we have to start a timer. Okay, the timer is on, and I'm just going to bring it up right here. Where it is? There it is. Ow! I can't. It's like locked into the overlay thing. It's very weird. Like I can't move it or anything. I don't know. I have no idea. It's so dumb. Everything is like stuck. Timer. I see you, but I can't grab you. There it is. Okay. So, you could go to that link, attention.sale, attn.sale, or hooks.sale. It doesn't matter. You know what? I'll move that there. Go to hooks.sale, scroll, scan that thing. We're going to answer some questions. All right. But real quick, this is Attention OS. You got John Bott 3 Masterclass, all 5 tools. You got the whole VIP area with channel audits, Q&A, podcasts. You can attend all of them on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. Like, get advice directly from me. Oh man, all this stuff. $605 value, I think is what it was. Yeah. But for $47 a month. Okay. Let's start with the questions, and you guys go ahead and ask them, and I will get to answering them all. But we have some from Zoom here. So we've got 20 on the clock. Let's get to it. Can I try it for free first? Okay. So that's why we have the 30-day guarantee. No, we don't have a free trial on it, unfortunately. But if you join, you can use everything in there. And if it's not like what I say it is, if you don't like the advice I give when you ask me, we refund it, no questions. That's as risk-free as it gets. So if that's cool with you, man, hooks.sale, get to it. That's the deal. Okay. Why is it not cheaper? Okay. Well, we have overhead, unfortunately. So HookBomb, technically you can get HookBomb for a one-time price at $50. If you go to hookbomb.com, I think you'll see it there. But the other tools, there is an overhead. We have to pay API costs for that. And so it's just bills, man. We got to pay just like everybody else. You got to pay money to make money. Isn't that what it says? You got to spend money to make money, something like that. So yeah, there's no overhead on HookBomb, but everything else we got to pay bills for. So that's why. That is why. But if you're cool with that, then go to hooks.sale. What happens when I cancel? So when you cancel, the remaining time of that month, you get to keep doing whatever you do, unless you got a refund. If you get a refund, then we just immediately, it cuts off. It's like all automated. But you get the remaining month. You can still you can still like submit your short for the Monday live reviews. You can go to the channel audits. You can ask me questions on Saturday. But at the end of your date, it just automatically cuts off the tools. But you'll still keep HookBomb, actually. So that's the deal. If you do pay for the 1 month, you keep HookBomb forever. I don't know. We just thought that was nice. So if that sounds good to you, then go to hooks.sale. I'm just going to keep saying that. Or scan that QR code. I think I made that work. Okay. What if my niche isn't storytelling? It doesn't need to be. You might be talking about the perfect hook. Yeah. No, the perfect hook works for anything. It's honestly, I think all shorts are a form of storytelling. I think a form of storytelling. I think storytelling is just like, it's too complicated, and so people have trouble like grasping it. They think you have to like have the hero, the rising action, I don't know, all the parts, the man in the hole. Like, I think it's just people overcomplicate it. Really, it's just like, here's the thing you're curious about, and here's the answer to it. Like, here's the problem, resolve. People are just waiting for the end. That's it. They want to know what happens at the end. So that's the story you're telling. Everything is storytelling. But yeah, you don't have to have a storytelling niche. Sorry, it just said 5%. Anyway, when you're ready to own your niche, even if it's not storytelling, go to hooks.sale. Okay, so what if I'm new to YouTube? To be honest, I think that's a good thing. Like, JohnBot especially has all the answers to the new YouTube questions. Like, how often do I post? How many? If I have a short that's going viral or doing well, can I post another one? Will it ruin it? Like, those are questions I get all the time, and so I answer them all the time. JohnBot knows them all. All the questions you could think to ask, he knows them. So I think it's good to at least have that. And then if you're like learning hooks now, you're going to be way ahead of the game of the people that learned the bad habits. And I do my best to teach what I can, but I sometimes have to unteach things for people. And that gets complicated. That gets really hard because it's hard to break habits that they think is good when it's not, especially when things aren't as simple as they need to be. They like, okay, well, what if I do this with editing? It's like, don't do that. That's not what this is going viral. Does it do that? No. Okay. So, yeah, I think you're going to skip way ahead of the people trying to figure things out and they were focused on the wrong things. I think you're going to build habits, like good habits. And so, if anything, I think it's I think it's good for new creators. So, if you're down for that, go to hooks.sale. What if my niche is too saturated? It's Minecraft. I honestly, if you can watch the replay, if you didn't catch it, going back to the part where I talk about the neighbor niche, I think that's going to be the best for you. Figuring out what hooks work in like Roblox and Fortnite and I said Halo, but like any game, those game hooks, they have what you need to go viral in them. You just got to remove the specific things about the game and replace them with yours. If it's a character in Fortnite, you replace it with a creeper or a villager, or your friend, right? Like anything like that. If it's a difficult situation like a conflict, then you replace it with a Minecraft conflict. And so you just gotta, I know I got tons of Minecraft hooks in HookBomb. I got tons of gaming hooks in general. And so if you do get it, here, let me just show you. If you go into HookBomb, I need to like make a tutorial on these. But if you go into HookBomb and you go to all niches and you click gaming, and you can click faceless if you're faceless, and then this will help you a lot, like these kind of hooks. There's like a lot of pages, but if you click faceless, it's gonna filter it just a little bit more. There's one in here that a dude got like 9 million. This right here, some dude got 9 million views from that 2 million view video. Yeah, you'll see him on the channel if you ever go watch. But yeah, it's totally fine. No niche is too saturated to go viral with the right hook. Okay, so if that sounds good to you, go to hooks.sale. All right, can I really make 20K like you? I'm not I'm not doing an income claim like that. I want to say anybody can. They don't even have to make content. Like, it's possible. Can you? Yeah, but will you? It depends. It really depends on I don't do anything else but this, right? And so, like, 12 to 16 hours a day is content. It's not the healthiest lifestyle, but it is possible, especially if you like nail it and you find a format that works and you double down on it and just keep doing it. Like I found the perfect hook. Then yeah, it's totally possible. It's honestly, this is the low end. If I had just kept up with it, I probably would have made more. If I had hired people to do it with me, I would have made more. And that's just not the future that I wanted. I wanted to do what I'm doing now, build a business. But yeah, it's possible. It's up to you. If you're willing to put in that work, the money can follow. So if you're ready to do the work, go to hooks.sale. Can I hook? Oh, this must have been asked before I covered it. So can I use HookRater on videos I already posted to learn? Yeah, you definitely can. Just to cover that again, if you go to HookRater and there's like a little thing that says Shorts link here, bam, and you can put it in right there. And yeah, just anything that you post. I think it's better if you do it before you publish because you can learn what not to do. So if you want to go over your existing content, you can go to hooks.sale and make it happen. If I have login issues, what do I do? When you buy, you immediately get an email. If you reply to that email, I get it directly, me or Will. And so we can definitely figure it out. We used to have a bigger thing. It was like $140 a month. And we combined all the stuff into the 47. And so when we switched people over, it was like a big pain, but we developed a solid customer relations process. And so, yeah, if you just reply it or you can email us directly, the email, if you go at the bottom of the tool, you'll get a hold of my email if you do the contact. Okay, before I answer your guys' questions, I just want you to know that if you go to attention.tools, and you sign in, you'll get an email that says, hey, log into attention.tools. It's a free account. It's Attention OS free, okay? And this is what it's going to look like. But you'll notice that the downloads are still open. Here's the gift. You get my book and the vertical overlays for free. Jump in there, get it. It's yours. I told you I was giving a gift at the end of this thing. So that's it. Enjoy. Sound like a smart creator. Use the overlays. And if you really like it, then join the VIP, join OS or Attention OS Pro. Like, it's honestly, I believe it's worth it because it's where I put all of my attention. But maybe I'm biased. Okay, so let me look at your guys' questions. What program are you using to do this webinar? Can I share the screen? So I am using a combination of OBS and that's it. OBS, and I like moved the screens around. I added like a little banner on the edges and stuff. Like it's all like custom. So that's it. And then I made that background today, this little thing. So it's all OBS. And then I just have a bunch of crap and like 10 monitors going on. So yeah. How long will the replay be available? Came late and missed the session. It will be oh yeah, I covered you. Okay, yeah, great. It'll be available until Sunday. Technically, you should be able to just back it up and get to the part where I reviewed you, but I really think you should watch the whole thing. Okay. But yeah, thank you for coming. My question is, I can't find it anywhere, but I'll have a video that will go viral. It can't small viral, but any video I post in the next 24 to 48 hours sits on 0 views. Why would that happen? It could happen for a lot of different reasons, like if you deleted a video or if YouTube doesn't know what to do with that content. I mean, honestly, it could come from a lot of things. Where are the questions coming from? They were coming from Zoom. I don't know. I recognize your name. Any video I post in the next 24 to 48 hours sits on 0 views. Yeah, I'm not sure. There are a lot of variables on why that would occur, but if after 48 hours it still got 0 impressions, pay attention to the impressions. If it says 0, then something weird happened after 48 hours, and you can delete it and re-upload it. You have my permission. That is the only time I say you do it, because something glitched or you didn't get impressions. But look at impressions, because that's the important thing. And that's like really the only thing you should care about, if it actually worked or didn't. What will you teach and your tools work for my niche and my short 5.3 shorts videos? So, just so you know, I'm gonna bring your channel up just real quick, because actually I already closed it. Okay, well anyway, I remember your channel. It was like random kind of footage, but you had like a really long joke written, and it was too long that 5.3 seconds wasn't long enough, and so you required the loop to happen. What I will say is that works a little bit. I think YouTube is going to curb that behavior if it hasn't already. I remember I wrote quantity on yours, because you like put out like 10 a day, if I'm not mistaken, and you just keep putting these things out. And so I don't know if you're monetized. I just think that I don't know, that feels automated to YouTube typically, and so I don't really know what my software could do for you. It can't really write your jokes. You kind of do a format that I wouldn't teach anybody. I don't think it's, I'm like trying to build people's brands and stuff, and it's just, that's kind of like a little hack that you're doing. And so I don't know if you're making money off of it, but I mean, it could if you post that many times a day. It's just a lot of people try the loop trick, and I remember when it stopped getting views, like hardcore views, Reddit blew up, and they're like, oh, my Minecraft videos aren't working anymore, and they were like 3 seconds each, and it was like a really long amount of text, and so kids would have to stay. I don't know what your future will look like, but if it ever stops, if you ever stop getting views or whatever, you're more than welcome to hop in. But if you want to continue doing what you do, like, don't pay me anything. You can still get the free stuff if you want it, but there's no reason to give me money or anything like that. Just because I don't know what to do with that kind of format, to be honest with you. Okay. Hook Raider. Yeah. Okay. And one second. I have 2 questions. When does he usually make these types of streams? These webinars happen Thursdays, and the people that show up come from Facebook ads. It's something new that we're doing. But for all of you that came from Facebook ads, we do our live streams on Monday, and so feel free to submit, and just subscribe to the channel or something, and you'll see when they pop up. Or you can always join the free community, discord.gg/John Scott, but I'd recommend joining the VIP and getting all this stuff, okay? I was reviewed. I may not want to go back. No, it's okay. It's okay. Cool. All right. How long do you need to wait before uploading and deleting, after deleting? You don't. There is no wait. It's just the next one's going to perform like shit. It's like, that's just like a penalty that you get when you delete. And so it sucks. Right. Okie dokie. Guys, I am out of here. I really appreciate you coming around, and that has been Viral Short Secrets. The timer ended already. I didn't notice it. Maybe I should program a little beep on there. But join the VIP. Come talk to us. Come hang out on Discord. Use the tools. Watch the replays. The replays inside the VIP section on the Attention OS Pro is like, that's where it's at. That's what I love to do. That's my favorite thing. I'm like, guys, buy my thing. But yeah, this is like, the Q&As are where it's at, I think. Like, can AI voices be monetized? My Omega script formula and how I make thumbnails, and my perfect hook I actually covered for them before I ever started doing webinars. Yeah, so it's all exciting. It's exciting to me. I hope you guys join, but if not, hopefully you jump in the free Discord. It's the link is in the description, and I'll see you next time. Ignore that starting soon. It's not starting soon. It's no longer starting soon. It's ending soon.
They tell me, give up the dream, give up the love, give up the hope. Where did your life go? Why can't you follow? I said, look at yourself, look at your life, look at the me everything.